Hello, welcome to Granada Reports. We're live with the news in the northwest.
Hello, here's what's on the programme this evening.
Alex thought she'd suffered a sport injury. In fact, doctors found terminal cancer. Tonight, the fundraising drive to allow her to die in her homeland, surrounded by family.
They told me I had days to weeks, so you don't know how long you have, but my spirit is gonna fight until I get to Peru.
Feeling supersonic as the ballot closes for Oasis tickets, how the gigs could bring £15 million to the economy of their home city.
The opening ceremony is less than an hour away. We hear from one of our greatest Paralympians this evening.
In a flap, why seagull insurance is being offered by a barbecue food truck on the Isle of Man.
And after a dreary start, we've begun to see a bit of blue coming through up there today, and it's better news weather-wise for the next few days. I'll have the full forecast later on.
Yes, lots to come up at first tonight. A young woman in Lancaster who is terminally ill is in a desperate race against time to see her family in Peru before it's too late.
Alex Angeles Caicho, who's 21, moved to the northwest 3 years ago, but her world was turned upside down in February last year when she was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer.
Weeks of tests led to the discovery of the disease, which medics told Alex was almost impossible to get at her age. But the cancer has now spread and she has just days to live.
She's hoping to raise money to get home to Peru to say goodbye to her family. She hasn't seen her dad for 2 years. But the cost to fly her home privately is more than £150,000. Victoria Grimes reports from the Clatterbridge Cancer Centre in Liverpool, where Alex is being treated.
This was Alex and boyfriend Dylan just weeks ago, celebrating her first-class honours degree. They've spent most of their time since in this hospital room. Alex, now too sick to move from it. At just 21, she's been given the devastating news that her cancer has spread, and she doesn't have much time left.
You just don't expect to have cancer at 21. The first thing I just thought was, there's still so much I want to do. Yeah. It was my dream to visit Japan one day. I really wanted to do a master's, but it's not gonna be possible. But I always knew from the beginning of the diagnosis and everything, I always knew that if the end came, I wanted to go see my family.
Alex was enjoying all the fun of student life at Lancaster University, but a diagnosis of pancreatic cancer left her and doctors in shock. They thought it was impossible in someone so young. Now she just wants to spend her final days with her family back in Peru.
See my grandma, my cousins. They're like my brothers. We grew up together. And I know they would be heartbroken if they didn't get to say goodbye in person.
And your dad as well.
My dad, that's one of the things that makes me really sad, because I wish I had more time with him.
Getting there, though, will be a race against time and the cancer. Medics say she can make the trip, but it needs to be soon, within days. She'll need a special air ambulance. A catastrophic bleed could happen at any time. Dylan and her friends are desperately trying to raise £150,000 it would cost. A GoFundMe page has got them halfway. They still need another £75,000.
Being told like the worst of news is just like heartbreaking, isn't it?
So your greatest wish would be to
get Alex home.
Alex, what would it mean to you to be able to go back to Peru for the time that you have left?
Like everything. going to Peru is everything for me. Like, they told me I had days 2 weeks, so you don't know how long you have, but my spirit is gonna fight until I get to Peru. I'm not leaving until I get to Peru.
Now Alex and all those who love her are desperately hoping that her last wish can be fulfilled. Victoria Grimes, ITV News, Liverpool.
Terribly sad, yeah. We wish Alex all the best. Yeah. Well, next, a doctor from Lancashire says he hugs his daughter that little bit tighter after returning home from treating children with terrible injuries in Gaza.
Dr. Matt Newport has been treating civilians caught up in the conflict while working with Manchester-based frontline medical charity UK Med.
It's just received a further £5.5 million as part of the government's humanitarian response.
Matt says the deployment was challenging, but hopes he'll make his daughter proud. He joined me a little bit earlier.
It was all over the news, the scale of the suffering, you know, and the huge need for medical assistance, shelter, food, and similar just there. So I just felt compelled and started reaching out to some humanitarian actors who I knew probably would be going.
You're normally working in Blackburn. How different are things out there? I'm imagining significantly.
Yeah, I mean, there's no contrast, and what has really hit home when I've been back working at East Lancs Trust is just it's completely chalk and cheese, and in many ways it makes me hugely grateful for the NHS and to be able to work in such a robust healthcare service, because when I'm back out in Gaza, even the most basic of medical supplies and consumables that we would take for granted, you know, swabs, dressings, clean water to wash your hands, just there's just a daily grind in maintaining the sort of basic supplies. Hugely frustrating. Effectively, you're working in a tent. Yes, I mean, this image you can see is our operating theatre. We now have two. I think that, as you know, UK Med, we're rightly proud of the field hospital and our field hospitals that we've set up, and the services that we're providing. But essentially, for all the hundreds of cases that we're undertaking, this is essentially just a tarpaulin tent in the sand on the beach in Gaza. How close are you to the fighting? How safe do you feel? There's a constant barrage of noise, helicopters flying over, machine gun fire, airstrikes sort of rattling the walls and windows and barbed wire. I do feel safe, but I understand that I'm going into a situation that is inherently unsafe. And of course, there have been instances where humanitarian actors have been injured, but you know, we are on an even footing with civilians. Civilians should not be targets, and humanitarian actors should not be targets. And so, you know, we just need to see an end to the conflict. You've got a wife, Rachel. You've got a daughter, 2-year-old daughter, Meredith, back home here in the northwest. Do you ever worry that maybe you won't come back to them? I do. The first time I went out was only with 3 or 4 days' notice, so there wasn't a huge amount of time for discussion, and then I was away. I just feel that, you know, at the end of the day, we're all humans, and there are people, civilians, a huge number of children needing medical assistance who are, I mean, they're just the same as us. And so if our staff, our local staff, are willing to come to work every day, living in tents, being displaced multiple times, moving their children, you know, in amongst bombing explosions in the middle of the night, if they can still present themselves to work with dignity, you know, looking fresh, with a really good work ethic, for every ounce of effort that I put in, they're just giving it back in spades. So, I mean, for me, as long as that continues, I will keep putting myself forward for this sort of activity, I think. Dr. Matt Newport speaking to me earlier. Next tonight, Oasis say an extremely high volume of people have registered for their tour's pre-sale ballot after yesterday's news, of course, that they're getting back together.
Well, that ballot ends tonight and tickets go on general sale on Saturday.
The band will play 4 nights at Heaton Park next July, which experts say could give Manchester a £15 million boost.
Tim Scott has more details.
So what you say?
As the frenzy around the Oasis reunion continues, stories have surfaced suggesting some hotels are upping their prices for the UK dates the bands are in town. Some customers have reported they've now had their booking cancelled for those dates. Manchester's Maldron Hotel cited a system error when it informed customers their booking had been cancelled and denied it was an attempt to resell the rooms at inflated prices. In a tweet, the Nighttime Czar Sacha Lord asked the hotel to do the right thing, but so far there's been no update. Tickets for the Oasis shows go on sale on Saturday, and there'll be huge pressure on the ticketing websites to process the hundreds of thousands of requests. Coronation Street's Jacob Roberts will be one of the hopeful.
I'm going to ask all my friends to do the same things on Saturday and see what we can do. Obviously there's no promises and it's first come, first serve, but I'm going to try. I want to listen to that music again live.
While buying tickets online for huge events like an Oasis reunion can be stressful, there are some things you can do to help ease the pain.
Sit near your router. You know, you might have noticed when you're in your home, if you're far away from your router, you will get a weaker connection. So the closer you are, the better the connection will be. Turn off your laptop, turn off your phone by the power, and then turn it back on, because you might notice that a update needs to be updated. Just make sure that no one else is on the Wi-Fi at your house.
Since yesterday's announcement, Peter Howard has been inundated with interview requests. He still runs Sifter's record shop in Burnage, where Noel Gallagher used to shop. He was immortalised as Mr. Sifter in Shaker Maker, and he remembers the Gallaghers well.
Oh, they were nice lads, yeah. It was Noel, very driven. He's very, very keen on the music side.
Really? Wow.
He knew he was going to the top, as it were, really.
Right.
I mean, there's been loads of people coming in and saying, oh, we've got a 6-record deal, and stuff like that, and you never hear them ever again.
Yeah.
But there never seemed to be any doubt
really?
with them.
Wow.
It was going to go big.
It seems that half of the country, maybe more, have been swept up in the Oasis reunion fever. And while there have been many fans disappointed they can't secure tickets when they go on sale, for those who do get one, it's sure to mean the world. Tim Scott, ITV News.
Still to come tonight.
The Lancashire rower in his first Paralympics, the next big event in an incredible summer of sport.
And hopefully we'll all see a bit more sunshine to end the last few days of meteorological summer. I'll have the full forecast in a few minutes.
Well, next, residents of a village near Macclesfield are protesting after contaminated building rubbish was dumped at a local beauty spot.
Yeah, they say the mounds of rubbish on the edge of a new housing development in Langley are an eyesore and a flood risk.
Yeah, the villagers are asking Cheshire East Council to force the property developer to remove the waste from the site.
Andrew Fletcher has been to meet them.
Langley Pond, a tranquil haven for anglers, nature lovers and residents of this Cheshire village. 3 years ago, they successfully protested against plans to tip tons of rubble from a housing development into the pond. But now they're worried after the rubbish was dumped instead on meadows behind it.
If we get heavy rain, the rain permeates through the mound at the back, goes directly into the lake, and the colour of the lake actually turns chocolate.
The development of 77 houses was built on the site of a former factory. Residents are concerned that toxic waste from the site may have been dumped in the mounds of rubble.
If that's going into this lake, you know, it could kill the fish, it could kill all the amphibians, we could lose this lake.
I mean, you can see here just the sheer amount of rubbish that's been dumped here.
Local councillor Chris O'Leary has been leading the protest. He says the planning application for the site required the developers, Seddon, to safely dispose of the rubbish off-site.
They don't have planning permission to do this. They are now trying to pull a fast one and basically get retrospective planning permission to do it. They have destroyed 2 very beautiful meadows and have also caused quite a lot of disturbance to new residents on this estate.
One of those residents, Rob, moved into one of the new houses 6 months ago. He says the mound of building rubbish that appeared behind his garden fence is not just an eyesore, but a flood risk.
We, as residents, most of them along here have had to pay for land drains and other flood defence mechanisms, such as retaining walls. But you can actually see it because the land is actually made of clay soil, and it does flow down quite quickly.
It's a beautiful development. Houses are well built. It is on brownfield site. And up until their fly tipping of this rubbish, there was no problem with Seddons, the developer. It's only since they've decided to dump so much builders' rubble all around that has caused the problem.
We approached Seddon Homes for a response to the complaints made against them. They declined to comment. The campaigners are now asking Cheshire East Council to refuse the company's retrospective planning application and force it to remove the rubbish. Andrew Fletcher, ITV News, Langley in Cheshire.
Right, on to sport now, and the Paralympic Games get underway tonight. Here's Mike.
Yeah, that's right. This incredible summer of sport continues. We've had the Euros, we've had the Olympics, and now the Paralympics are here. 11 days of competition in Paris. It all begins with the opening ceremony this evening. Can Great Britain get close to, or even better, the 124 medals they won in Tokyo 3 years ago? Chris Conway reports.
To inspire and excite the world. That's the mission of the Paris Paralympic Games. One athlete hoping to aid that quest is Greg Stevenson from Lancashire. The rower knows what he wants from his first Paralympic Games.
Listen, we're going for gold, you know, and that's not to sound flippant or big-headed, but like I say, I've listed our accomplishments. You know, we have done really well. We had a really strong season last season, and we've backed it up this season so far. So yeah, you know, what I'm seeing on the water and how I'm feeling, you know, physiologically, I really want to give it a good shot.
After the success of the recent Olympic Games, just under 4,500 Paralympic athletes are expected in Paris, competing in 549 medal events. With 22 sports played across 20 venues in and around the French capital, almost 3.5 million spectators are expected, breaking the record for ticket sales set by the London 2012 Paralympics. Stephen Miller is a former triple Paralympic club throw champion. A highly decorated athlete, he says the Games are an opportunity to aim high.
It's a great experience to be involved in, you know. And yeah, there's a lot of pressure as well. You want to perform well, you want to do your best. There's a lot more attention than you used to. Millions of people watching on TV, thousands in the stadium, and it's such a great opportunity.
Along with victory on a global sporting stage, Paralympics GB hope the Games offer another opportunity as well.
Using the inspirational performances of the athletes to demand social change for those with a disability, whether that be in sport, in education, in society, and the athletes have the platform to do that.
Tonight, the opening ceremony takes place at Place de la Concorde, with Terry Bywater and Lucy Shuker carrying the Union flag.
It's a dream. I have to keep pinching myself. It doesn't feel real right now, trying to take it all in. You're very lucky if you get to one Paralympic Games. I'm here, sat in Paris at my 7th Paralympic Games, and now to be flag bearer, it seems like it's not real right now.
After work on the Paralympic venues, the French capital stands ready for 11 days of intense competition. Along with medal success, organisers hope athletes and their achievements can be a force for change too. Chris Conway, ITV News.
And it all starts tonight. A little earlier I spoke with Lady Tanni Grey-Thompson, one of Great Britain's most successful Paralympians ever. She won 16 medals, 11 of them gold, across 5 games. She told me what we can look forward to.
I think what we're expecting in the next few days, lots of medals, lots of incredible performances, a lot of emotion as well, which you get with big sporting events. But we're also expecting Paris to really raise the bar. London is still held as being the best Paralympic Games ever. We're expecting even more from Paris.
Now, you competed in 5 Paralympic Games. Incredibly, the last one was 20 years ago. It only feels like yesterday. How much have the Games changed in those 20 years?
Oh, it's been incredible. I mean, for my very first Games, there was virtually no coverage. No one knew what the Paralympics was about. And that evolved and changed. Every cycle, there was more coverage. I mean, now from Paris, it's the first time it's going to be really seriously covered in the USA. So I think that's going to be a game changer. Successful athletes won't just be known in their own country. We're going to start developing, worldwide, sporting heroes.
I have to ask you about somebody whose career we've followed for many, many years on this programme, Dame Sarah Storey. 17 Paralympic gold medals. She's heading to her 9th Paralympic Games. She's not ruled out a 10th either. A remarkable athlete.
Oh, so I first met Sarah when she was Sarah Bailey in Barcelona, when she was like the baby of the team. And she's had an incredible career, you know, going from everything she did in swimming to cycling. And the punishment that her body takes is absolutely incredible. And while she's still got that thirst to do well, it's pretty special.
Now, Great Britain won 41 gold medals at the Tokyo Games. Aside from Sarah Storey, where are the medals going to come from this year?
Oh, so, you know, athletics and swimming, as the two biggest sports, are expected to deliver a big chunk of the medals. But badminton, you know, we've got newer sports, badminton being one of them, taekwondo's another one. We're going to see emerging athletes there. But, you know, honestly, I'd expect medals to be coming from every single sport. If we can do that, we're in a really strong place.
Well, we can't wait for the action to get underway. Tanni Gray-Thompson, great to talk to you.
Thank you.
To some football news now, and Liverpool are finalising a £12 million deal for Juventus forward Federico Chiesa. The Italy international is expected to sign a 4-year contract. Next, the draw for the Carabao Cup third round takes place tonight. League Two Barrow will be in the hat after they knocked out Championship side Derby County on penalties. Everton joined them in round 3 after beating League Two Doncaster 3-0. Blackpool, who are currently without a manager, beat Blackburn Rovers by 2-1. Elsewhere, Preston North End thrashed Harrogate Town 5-0 with Milutin Osmaic scoring a hat-trick. Ryan Graydon scored both goals for Fleetwood Town as they beat Rotherham by 2-1. And Bolton Wanderers were also winners 2-0 away at Shrewsbury Town. Burnley play Wolves tonight. And ahead of that match, they have jumped on the Oasis bandwagon with a very clever video to announce the signing of Manchester United midfielder Hannibal Mejbri. Did they really get Liam Gallagher to sing that, or was that just AI? I think it's AI.
That is brilliant. We have months of that still to come, don't we now?
Very
Thanks,
quick, Burnley, very quick. Well
Cheers.
done. Now, it's a common problem in British seasides across the country, the threat of a seagull attack, especially when they're eyeing up your food. But one company in the Isle of Man believes it has the answer.
There's nothing worse. Hawkins Barbecue offers customers the chance to take out seagull insurance with every meal, offering a free replacement after any swooping seagull incident.
Our Isle of Man reporter Joshua Stokes has been along to take out his own policy.
From the safety of the rooftops, these daring seagulls watch on, waiting for that opportune moment to strike. Another successful hunt, leaving more helpless victims without their lunch. But could this food truck finally have a solution? Introducing Seagull Insurance.
It's £1 for the insurance policy. They can take it out daily, and from there they can just rest easy knowing that if they get attacked, they will get their replacement meal in the house.
How much of a problem are seagulls here in the Isle of Man?
Because they're a protected animal, they have grown in size and in population. They're everywhere here on the island. So, yeah, we do have a bit of a gull problem. It's a weekly occurrence for me, at least. I've been bitten, sat on, you name it. But this initiative and this policy is to live in harmony with them and make sure that you can eat your food with us with no stress and just full ease.
Well, it may not stop the seagulls from getting up close and personal. Here in Peel, they seem pretty confident. But if they were to swoop in and try and steal a chip, then I'm covered.
Thank you very much. Enjoy.
And it's a policy that's proving popular, with all money collected, then donated to a local charity.
We have actually partnered up with the Mounds Wildlife Trust, and I think that's really important to us to give back to them, as it ensures the safety of the seagull every single time somebody takes out a policy with us.
So although the seagulls are terrifying, we're actually protecting them by giving that £1 to the charity.
Keeping their friends close and their enemies closer, as we learn to live amongst these avian pickpockets, and maybe then these cheeky gulls will think twice about stealing their next meal. Joshua Stokes, ITV News in the Isle of Man.
What brilliant idea.
It's a brilliant idea, and I tell you what, they are terrifying when
They really are. We need
especially when they come for your chips.
We need to see that everywhere, especially in Liverpool. OK, right, let's have the weather. Here's Joe.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Thank you. Very good evening to you. The good news is our weather begins to settle down as we head towards the end of this week. It's feeling fresher. We've lost the humidity. And after tomorrow, most places will become generally dry here in the northwest with a fine weekend in prospect and decent amounts of sunshine to come. High pressure is just trying to build in over the next few days, and it's certainly going to give us a fine end to the week. A few showers to come before that during the day tomorrow, but temperatures will do fairly well to end the week in the low 20s. Back to this evening, showers will peter out over the next few hours and it becomes largely dry tonight with long clear spells, a bit of mistiness, very light winds here in the northwest and dry conditions before dawn. It's not chilly, 11 or 12 Celsius the overnight low. On to tomorrow, those are the sun times. It's up at 6:15 and it'll be setting at 8:07 tomorrow evening. Tomorrow, bright and fresh and breezy to start the day, but showers will crop up quite early on and they'll be quite well scattered across the northwest of England and the Isle of Man through tomorrow morning. A few heavy ones, bright spells in between and increasingly dry weather by the end of tomorrow afternoon, turning fine to end the day. It's feeling a good deal fresher though, 18 or 19 Celsius at best tomorrow. A dry night to come tomorrow night. And looking ahead to Friday and the weekend, some better news to come. It will be dry and settled with sunny spells on Friday and a maximum temperature of 20 degrees. Saturday and Sunday look decent. There's a small risk of a few showers during Sunday, but really for the northwest of England and the Isle of Man, a dry end to the week. Bye-bye.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
That's Granada reports so far today. Head to our website for more on our top story tonight.
That is the race against time for a young woman in Lancaster who is terminally ill and desperate to see her family in Peru before it's too late.
For now, thanks very much for watching. Good night.
Good night.